My favorite memory with Alec was from sixth grade to sophomore year. He just talked to me about his girl problems and who he liked and disliked and what was going on. Also, just freshman year homecoming, he just made it such a blast. Even this past year, sophomore year homecoming, everything he said was so funny. And he always made fun of my rosy cheeks, and I always told him I couldn't help it, but Alec was such a good guy and such a good friend to be around.
My favorite moment with Alec was just being around him. From all the games we stood next to each other in the student section watching Sasha drain threes, or Tim passing me in the halls yelling my name, Emilio, with a huge smile on his face. Or even back to our middle school days when we played in those intense half-wheeler basketball games. And sadly, to the many L's we took in water pong. Every encounter I had with you, Alec, was a blessing, and I'll cherish them forever. You were a true friend, and will be missed by myself dearly and many others.
Everyone that got the chance to meet Alec knows how extremely lucky they are. He was just such a great friend and a great person, and he always knew how to make people smile. He would go out of his way to make people laugh or happy and in a better mood. I remember freshman year on my birthday, I walked into school and he was standing there with flowers and a card, and inside the card he just wrote how much he valued our friendship, and I will never ever forget that, because that's just the kind of person that he was. He is such a great friend, and everybody will miss him for the rest of their lives.
My favorite memory with Alec was we were playing Lost, and while we were waiting for a few other people, Alec stole Travis's car and drove around the Strax parking lot with Travis chasing after him and would not give the car back. I'm gonna miss him.
My favorite memory of Alec was when we were at my birthday party last summer and everyone was outside taking pictures, and he went up to me and said, "We're gonna model," and he started doing duck lips and putting out his hip, and everyone was just cracking up.
Alec, to me, he was the person that can make anybody laugh at any time. He's the one that could crack a joke to make you smile after you fail your math test, or after you strike out 3 times. He'll be the first one to tell you that you're gonna get a hit your 4th time up. I've known Alec most of my life, and I could truly say I haven't met someone as funny as he is. Alec was as intelligent as he was funny, though. But he was also one of the most reliable people I knew. If I ever needed something or wanted to talk, I always knew he would be there for me. And you really can't say that about everybody you know. Alex was just as competitive in sports as anybody. He did not let anybody take advantage of him. I remember in middle school basketball, I was about a foot taller than him, but he didn't care. He wanted to guard me. And if I threw an elbow, he threw one twice as hard right back, and I loved that about him. He was a true competitor who played sports the way they should be played. Alec and I sat right next to each other every single day of 2D art class this past year, where we discussed all sorts of things, from the Blackhawks being the best team in hockey, to how he somehow believed, and he would try to convince you, that the White Sox were better than the Cubs. Alec was more than just a huge sports fan, though. He was the type of person with the power to change someone's day from being gloomy to delightful by simply just having a conversation with them. Alec has touched so many people's lives in this community in such positive ways, and he has the type of personality that everybody should strive to be like. Alec was one of the most awesome kids you can meet, and if you knew him, you knew that to be true.
Every time I was with him, I was just happy. There was no way not to be happy when you were with Alec.
Alec was on my pups team last season, and he would always be the guy that would just laugh it off or tell me to keep doing what I'm doing, even when I was just playing so bad. And I think it's just awesome when someone else enhances my experience just by being themselves, and that was always Alec.
My favorite memory with Alec was when we were in middle school and we were on the same basketball team, and he had a cold once, and he was wearing no shirt, and he had no tissues. So he took his jersey and he blew his nose in it.
One of my favorite memories that I had with Alec would have to be when we went to Camp LRCA for confirmation and played paintball. No matter what sport or what game we ever played, Alec was so much fun and so hilarious because he was always so competitive and always joking around. This is why that I know Alec will be missed very, very much by all of his friends and family. He had such a positive impact on everyone that he had ever met.
I'll never forget the time me and Alec were at a church retreat. Everyone was sleeping, and me and him just stayed up till maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning just conversing about life, and there's nothing better than that.
Some of my best moments with Alec aren't even from us wanting to be adventurous or crazy. One of my favorites is the countless sleepovers where we would just hang out in my basement all night and play random video games. And though it doesn't sound like much fun, Alec made it one of my favorite things to do with him because of his lively and goofy personality that we all love. I can just remember sitting downstairs for hours upon hours, laughing at just about anything and everything. I don't necessarily like this question because I have endless great times with Alec. I saw Alec close to every day of the week, and each and every time were the best times of my life. He was the type of friend that I could tell anything to, and he would listen and give me advice or whatever I needed. Alec always had my back no matter what, and I always had his. Alec was an amazing young man, and I always vouch for that. Alec had a very special ability, the ability to make others laugh and inspire them, and to touch their hearts. He didn't deserve anything like this, but the only thing we can do now is to be thankful for the time we got to spend with this wonderful young man. We had a very special friendship, one that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Alec, you are my brother, and I will never forget you. Love you forever, ATM.
My favorite memory of Alec was when we had just finished one of our neighborhood basketball games, and I told everyone it was getting late, and I thought everyone had head home. I walked downstairs probably at around 12:30 and heard Alec and my brother laughing playing a video game Alec was probably terrible at. I don't think they really knew each other that well before this. This just shows how friendly and fun he was towards everyone and how easy it was to love him. He was always happy and goofing around and could cheer you up in an instant. He truly impacted everyone he met. Love you, Alec.
One of my favorite moments with Alec was on January 21st, 2015. It was a schoolgirls basketball game, and Alec and a ton of his friends were super fanning. We were playing Valpo, and we were down by 2 at the end of the game. I ended up jacking up a shot, and somehow it ended up going in. I got fouled and then made the free throw. All the boys started rushing the court, and Alec straight bolted for me and placed this huge plastic belt around me as our coach was just screaming at all the guys to get off the court, but Alec couldn't stop. He was just too excited. I kept that belt for the rest of the year, and then at the end of the year, I said, "Alec, do you want your belt back?" He said, "No, let's keep it at Taft and see if it's there the next time we go." We never ended up going, but sometime in the future, I'm going to make sure I go and try to find the belt. He knew how to exert happiness in every situation, and that's why he was so loved, and I know he'll be missed very much by all of his friends and family.
My favorite memory of Alec was when I walked into class every single day. He had something to say to me. One time I got very sick, and the next day I walked into class and he started acting like he was throwing up because he wanted to make sure that I would never forget that he saw the videos that were sent to him of me throwing up.
My favorite memory of Alec was we were at a party and he wanted to take a picture with me, and so when he put his arm around me for the picture, he forgot that I didn't put the top onto his water bottle and it spilled all over me, and then he kept apologizing for it.
One time he was bringing me ice cream and I didn't know he was bringing me ice cream, and I wasn't answering my phone, and he told me to come outside, and then 30 minutes later I saw it and he went home with the ice cream, and I told him to come back with it, and it was all melted. But I still ate it, so.
I think the amount of fun Alec and I have had over the past few years was equivalent to the amount of time we spent messing with each other. I'll never forget the times in middle school where we would have a war to see how many times we can trip each other in a day. Each day the scores would reset, and I must say that our records were very even. Another thing I would do is I would stare directly at him in school until he noticed I was looking at him. Once he turned to look at me, I would look away really fast, so it was like I was never looking at him in the first place. I would then argue to him that he was just saying things and I wasn't looking at him. I've never seen someone get so mad over something so stupid like that. Alec also might have been one of the worst actors I've ever filmed with. He was so bad it made it good. His most iconic role was the 7th grade science project character, Bang D Oolong Teriyaki Jumbo Dog, in our hit film, The Energy Bros. But he was more than just a person I could mess with when I was bored. He was a friend, a brother. I'll always remember in 8th grade when I found out my longtime crush Nia Shelton didn't like me back. He walked over to my house at midnight from the back of Allendale, and we talked about it. Or in 6th grade, the time I was talking to someone and he was trying to get my attention by pushing his finger really hard into my arm, mumbling whatever noise that was. From being a great guy to talking a little too loud because he couldn't hear himself speak, Alec will always be remembered as one of my best friends and a brother to me.
My favorite memory of Alec would be when we went to McDonald's to get ice cream to celebrate him getting his license. The night we sat in a nasty McDonald's booth for hours talking about whatever came to mind. I couldn't be happier sitting there with anyone else. Something about his smile was so promising that he was the happiest kid in the world. It would be the little things that he would do to make you fall in love with his personality, like the way he would tap you on the shoulder a couple times while laughing, almost as if he was telling you to laugh with him, or the way he would light up about something he cared about. That night I came to a realization that Alec was the most genuine person I've ever known. He is someone that is truly one of a kind, and he will forever and always be in my heart as one of my best friends.